And a group of Northlanders voiced their frustration over the government shutdown today with a protest in Hermantown. They gathered outside Congressman Pete Stauber's Hermantown office, blaming Republicans for their role in the shutdown. The group held signs that read, "End the chaos and protect health care." One protester told us Stauber shouldn't be home in his district, but back in D.C. working to end the shutdown.
We're asking him to do his job because he's home. They're on vacation, apparently, or whatever you call it. And we think he should be in Washington, D.C., talking to the Democrats and trying to come to some kind of an agreement about opening up the government again.
And Congressman Stauber did issue a statement in response, telling Northern News Now, quote, "I'm not sure why they're protesting my office. Unlike Senate Democrats, I voted to keep the government open. Their frustration is misdirected."